So where do I begin with my ideas? I've had a lot of ideas in the past with, like, friends and stuff and, like, channels that I wanted to create. And I've had a lot of inspiration. You know, I've never really wanted to do YouTube full on, full time. You know, I was one of those kids who was raised to, always be outside and not really be on video games a lot. And as soon as I moved in with my grandparents, that kind of changed. I mean, I still went outside for a really long time, but I slowly became more depressed. So, like, my older ideas when I was outside all the time had changed. Like, I was getting new ideas all the time, and I was, you know, everything was different when I moved in with my grandparents. And it was around that time because I had only had access to YouTube when I was at my dad's, because I had this phone and it didn't make calls or anything, but it was a phone that my dad would let me play on when I was over there hanging out with him. So, like, I was introduced to video games by my dad and, like, anime by my dad, and you know, a lot of stuff from my dad. But you know, I really only had the exposure to YouTubers when I was at my dad's. But as soon as I moved in with my grandparents, I had full access to that immediately, like full force. It was full plunging, and you know, watching like Dan TDM and popular MMOs, I got the idea, hey, that looks fun. And I had already started my first channel back a while back. Honestly, I don't have the name for it anymore, but after that, I created my very first channel, and that was Foxaloxy. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it was Foxaloxy 2, the Gaming Master, which I might not have been, but all I remember is that I had a few channels before getting to a channel where I gave up, pretty much. It was Lich King Jr. Plays, and that was a channel I put, like, a lot of love into, and it was at that time that, like, I wanted to be a YouTuber when I grew up. Like, that's all I wanted to do, that's what I wanted my profession to be, you know, even though, like, I still wanted to be a writer, but I also wanted to be a YouTuber. Now, I guess I really technically am a YouTuber. Like, I don't want to do this as my job, and if I do end up making money off of it, well, that's just great for me, I guess. But I still want to be a writer when I grow up. And you know, when I had moved in with my grandparents, my writing ideas were flowing. Like, my teachers had all supported me wanting to write, and so I wrote, and I would write some pretty interesting books, and like, I had some great ideas. But then there was a point 2 years into living with my grandparents that I had gotten like an extensive writer's block for about a whole year, and that really affected how I wrote and like how the books turned out. And only recently, towards kind of the end of the school year of this year, I started writing this game script, and honestly, I didn't really think it was gonna go anywhere, but I had a lot of passion for it. I was putting a lot of work into it. I had almost like around 14 to almost 16 pages of work done on it. I was really proud of it, but you know, with moving out with my dad and not being in that school anymore, I don't have access to it anymore, so that's depressing. But then in that time, you know, we started doing these things called map testing, and I don't know if you guys know what map testing is, but like, I'm sure most of you do. It's this test that the school needs you to do so they can track how much progress you've made over the year. So after the first week of ELA testing, right? I started writing this idea, and it was this whole idea about this kid. Now this is gonna sound so dumb, but it was this kid who has this new type of dementia, and he would kill people because certain words would trigger things within him. I don't know, I was working on it, but I really enjoyed it, and I was really getting into it. I was getting into chapters, and I felt like I was getting my flow back, something that I haven't had for years now, years. Something that I needed to push forth to give me ideas. Think back when I was younger, I had all these radiant ideas going on. I had ideas for channels that I wanted to start with people, and even a few years ago, not even super old ideas. I had ideas for I wanted to start a YouTube channel with Cosmic Coffee called The Potato Boys, and that channel went absolutely nowhere. I made a channel trailer for it, but it just went nowhere. We never made videos for it. And again, I wanted to create this channel with my friend Cat Gaming Vlogs called the Respawn Clan videos, and we were gonna be a gaming clan, and we would record videos and both post on the channel. That went to nowhere, and he did recently start a new Discord server for it. I completely forgot about it, but thank you, Cat Gaming Vlogs, for bringing that up. Now my ideas are so much different. I have so many ideas for books, and I feel like I've changed so much in the course of just 4 years. Who I really am, I've just changed so much. It's been a huge journey. I can imagine when I had first moved in with my grandparents, and I'd been held back, so I did 4th grade twice. And when I was in I did 4th grade, my ideas for things in books are just so radically different from the ideas for books that I've had now. I remember, because back in 4th grade we were still little kids and we still liked using our imaginations and playing. I came up with this game called Burn Segura, and basically the whole game was just about us being kids with superpowers and shit. The normal stuff that kids want. And it just I wish that I could have this creative, where I could share a brain with someone, because I feel like it'd be so awesome where you could just, share your thoughts and ideas with people. Because think about it, because I know when we were doing the Burn Segura, we just kept adding ideas on ideas on ideas, where we would build the game up into we were building an overarching story, to the point where our friend, she even none of us who had much cooler powers than her, not to be a dick or anything, but we had much cooler powers than her. She wasn't great at coming up with stuff like that, but she become more of the main character of that game, just because her dad, in air quotes, was the overarching villain, and it was so cool, and that's I loved that so much, and I just wish I could go back to that point in time, because things have changed so much, my ideas and how things I do and work. I still have a great imagination, so when I'm sleeping or I'm just sitting around doing absolutely nothing, my brain will just start working up all these ideas, where I'll come up with oh, that'd be cool for a anime or something, or ooh, that'd be cool for a book. And I've come up with all these cool ideas, but I have no one to share them with. And when I share them with people, people are just oh, that's cool, I guess. They're treating me I'm not. They're treating it my ideas aren't valid. And I guess, yeah, I'm 14. I really shouldn't be coming up with like things for anime and stuff. But I mean, like, not really. I mean, like, game. Like, I think my ideas have changed so much from just these past 5 years. Because I remember I had an idea for a book called Notebook, right? And so basically, there's 3 notebooks that connect all these 3 characters, and each 3 characters have these pets. The pets are actually the villains, but there was going to be 4 books. 3 books for each overarching character, and then the 4th book where they all meet up and then defeat the animals. That was like 2 years ago, in 5th grade. I thought that was the coolest shit ever. It's actually really fucking lame, because the way I had set it up, it was not gonna make any sense. Like, you had to have a good, like, idea, and you know what, I didn't even have an idea for that. All I know is that I had a name for a pet, and I was just like, fuck it, I'm gonna go for it, and I'm gonna make this a book. Never did. It went to shit. I remember, but then, like, just like a year later, 6th grade, I had come up with an even better book idea. Don't remember the name. All I know is that it was about this kid, and his little brother is born with cancer, and he doesn't even want a little brother, but he learned to love his little brother, and now that he's little, and it was gonna be a very sad book, and it was gonna have a very sad ending, and I was thinking maybe I was gonna have 2 books in the series, but that wouldn't make any sense, you know? And I was writing on it, and I lost everything, you know? And then another example of me, like, being able to share my brain with someone are my 2 friends, 2 very close friends to me. They're both 16, they both want to be writers too. We wanted to write a book called 310. Now, in my mom's neighborhood, there's like 4 churches surrounding her apartment buildings, okay? And there's a church, like, directly across from where we live. And so that's where we would go to hang out all the time. But we, like, you know, my imagination running, we started, like, theorizing. It's a cult. They have all these signs. They don't want kids on here. They capture kids. That's why there's screams. That's why there's gunshots. There's all these things. Obviously, it's not a cult. We were just having fun. But the whole thing is that there was a missing number on their mailbox. And so that is why we decided to name the book 310. It was an awesome idea. I want to go back to it. Like, I enjoyed what we had so far. Like, I won't be able to pull it up, you know, because it's on a school account. I remember one time in 5th grade, I remember I was I wanted to write so bad that, like, whatever I could do to, like, write, I would write about. Alright, so, like, let me just pull this up real quick. So I remember I pulled out my personal email on Google Docs. And on Google Docs, I wanted to write some stuff. Right, so I remember okay, so yeah, I just remember I literally wanted to write so bad that whatever I could do, I would write. And so there was this big thing happening between these 2 kids, and they obviously had crushes on each other, and my big fucking dumbass brain was like, fanfic. Never did it because I got caught and they were like, ew, that's nasty. Literally just opening up my Google Docs, my own personal Google Docs, I literally just found my game enders thing. Let's go. That is so awesome. That is amazing to find. That is awesome. Now I can continue working on it again. That is the best thing ever. Dude, oh my god.